Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. I want to say very happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Holiday season, hopefully you get to spend it with family and friends and be safe. And we got some football to play this weekend. Alright, Christmas Eve is when the season starts. This week starts on Christmas Eve. First off, go over the playoff picture real quick here in the AFC. We have New England at 12-2, already clinched the division. We have Cincinnati at 11-3, already clinched the playoff spot. We have Denver Broncos at 10-4, leading the AFC West. And we have the Houston Texans at 7-7, leading the AFC South. Looks like the Kansas City Chiefs and Pittsburgh Steelers, both 9-5, are in. The New York Jets are 9-5 and out. Really, there's nobody else that can pass these teams or get up into the playoff picture. The only possibility would be the AFC South, with the Houston Texans at 7-7 and the Indianapolis Colts are 6-8. And really, beyond that, Jacksonville's 5-9. They don't have even a shot at even tying the record with Jacksonville or with Houston or Indianapolis. So pretty much we're set. Unfortunately, it looks like a right at 500 or right around 500 team will make the playoffs to the AFC South leader, and then a good team like either the Chiefs, Steelers, or the Jets will miss. NFC, we have the Carolina Panthers clinch the division 14-0, going for the perfect season. Arizona Cardinals clinch their division at 12-2. Green Bay, who's officially made the playoffs at 10-4. The Redskins are 7-7, leading the NFC North. I'm sorry, NFC East. My bad. Seahawks 9-5 have clinched the playoff spot. Minnesota 9-5, and the next team out there are the Falcons at 7-7. So they're 2 games out with 2 to play. They would need a lot. They'd have to win out and a lot of help. NFC East, Redskins 7-7, Philly and the Giants both 6-8. The Giants really needed that Monday night game and didn't get it, obviously, against the Panthers. So let's run down Week 16 of the NFL season. Christmas Eve, we have the 4-10 San Diego Chargers at the 6-8 Oakland Raiders. These two teams played back on Week 7, October 25th. Oakland won 37-29. Oakland's favored by 5. Over under 47. I got the Raiders winning. They'll cover the 5 and over on the 47. Both of these teams are been eliminated from playoff contention. The big NFC East matchup on Saturday, day after Christmas. The Washington Redskins at 7-7 versus the Philadelphia Eagles at 6-8. Both teams are 2-2 in the division. They met back on Week 4 in Washington, and Washington won 23-20. In this game, Philly is favored by 3, with an over-under of 47.5. Really, both these teams have all kinds of issues, especially at quarterback. Washington, obviously, Kirk Cousins has been playing this year. Philly, Mark Sanchez, Sam Bradford, it's hard again. They get rid of Foles. I mean, this Chip Kelly high-tempo offense really is just going 3 down, 3. Yeah, I'm actually picking Washington to win this. I think it'll be a repeat of Week 4. So I'm picking Washington to win. I'll give them 3 points. I'm taking under on 47.5. NFC South matchup, we have the Carolina Panthers at 14-0 going for the perfect season. So what do you do at this point if you're Carolina? You already clinched the division. You already got to play, pretty much home field locked up. You got 2 games to go. Do you A, take a chance, get somebody hurt, and go for the perfect season? Or B, you start resting people and going from there? You got Atlanta this week at 7-7. I mean, Week 14, Carolina played Atlanta and they won 38-0. That was just a couple of weeks ago. So Carolina's favored by 7.5 on the road with an over-under 47.5. Honestly, what I would do if I was the Panthers, if you get up a couple scores, start pulling people. Obviously, you can Cam Newton, and if the score starts kind of, if somehow Falcons start creeping back, you can put him back in there. But at least give him a break. Give some of your regulars a break, Greg Olsen, etc. Let's try to go for the perfect season without getting somebody hurt. So I got Carolina winning, covering the 7.5 and under on the 47.5. AFC North, we have the 9-5 Pittsburgh Steelers versus the 4-10 Baltimore Ravens. Pittsburgh is tied with Kansas City and the Jets for the last, so three teams tied at 9-5. Only 2 teams make the playoffs. These 2 teams met back in week 4. Baltimore won 23-20 in overtime in Pittsburgh. But no Joe Flacco for Baltimore. You have Pittsburgh on a roll right now. They're playing a lot better than they were back then. Pittsburgh favored by 11.5 on the road. I don't think. I could be wrong. Baltimore's bad, but I don't know if Pittsburgh can almost two touchdowns difference. Ugh. I'm taking Pittsburgh to win, Baltimore to cover that 11.5, and then under on the 47.5. I just hate those double digits. It's kind of hard, what do you do? Because sometimes they cover, sometimes they don't. Next, we have the Dallas Cowboys at 4-10, lost season for them, versus Buffalo Bills at 6-8. Buffalo is favored by 7 at home, over under 42.5. I got the Bills winning, covering, and over on the 42.5. Next, we have the San Francisco 49ers at 4-10 versus the Detroit Lions at 5-9. Detroit is actually favored by 10 at home. I think the Lions will win, but they ain't winning by double digits. 49ers cover that 10. I'm taking over on the 43. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns at 3-11 versus the Kansas City Chiefs at 9-5. How about them Chiefs? Whew. They started the season 1-5. Everybody counted them off like, this is going to suck for the Chiefs. They rebuild, blah, blah, blah. Alex Smith, and they lose Jamal Charles, and everybody's like, oh, they're even worse now. Wow, 8 straight victories. They are 9-5, 1 game out of the division. Denver's been reeling a little bit here. So if Cincinnati loses and Denver loses, out. So both teams have to lose this week and next week. And Kansas City wins both. They have a shot out. They look at tiebreakers of having a bye. That would be crazy to win 10 straight to end the season and go from 1-5 to a bye, first round bye in the playoffs. Kansas City is favored by 13.5 at home versus the Browns. They cover that 13.5. I'm taking under on the 43 and a Chiefs victory. Next, we have the Indianapolis Colts at 6-8 versus the Miami Dolphins at 5-9. There was no line on this game, so I created my own line. I got Indy by 3.5 and over under 47.5. So I got them covering my 3.5. I'm taking under on the 47.5 and a Colts victory. Next, we have an AFC East matchup. We have the 12-2 New England Patriots versus the 9-5 New York Jets. Back in Week 7, New England won 30-23. If the Jets want to have a shot at the playoffs, with being the fact it looks like they do not hold a tiebreaker versus the Chiefs and the Steelers, must win for them. Not saying they can't get in if they lose, but they need to win and still have help. Went over Week 7 already. New England favored by 3 with an over-under of 45.5. Do like I did, I think I had Week 7. I think I picked the Jets to win this one. I'm taking the Jets. I'll give them the 3 points, and I'll cover that. I'm taking over under 45.5. Chicago Bears at 5-9 versus the 6-8 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wow, Jameis Winston, rookie sensation this year. It seems like 6-8 has a chance to win out and go 500. The rookie quarterback. Tampa is favored by 3 at home. Taking Tampa to win, cover the 3 and over on the 45.5. AFC South matchup, really not a big one. We have Houston Texans at 7-7 versus the Titans at 3-11. Week 8, Houston won 20-6. The line on this is Tennessee's favored by 4 at home. Sorry, I wrote that down wrong. There was no line. I meant to say Houston by 4, Texans by 4. They'll cover that and under on 39. Wow. Don't understand my own handwriting. 5-9 Jacksonville Jaguars versus the 5-9 New Orleans Saints. New Orleans is favored by 3.5 at home. I have them winning. I have them cut over on the 47.5, and I have Jacksonville covering the 3.5. So Saints win. Jacksonville covers the 3.5 and over on the 47.5. Next, we have the 10-4 Green Bay Packers versus the 12-2 Arizona Cardinals. Playoff preview. Cardinals are 9-1 versus the NFC this year. So this is your second and third best teams in the NFC. Arizona's favored by 4.5 at home. I have them winning. I have them covering the 4.5, and I have them over on the 49.5. We have an NFC West matchup. We have the 6-8 St. Louis Rams versus the Seahawks at 9-5. The Rams are 3-1 in the division. The Seahawks are 2-2. In Week 1, the Rams won 34-31 in overtime. But that was when the Rams were playing a little bit better than they are now. Or a lot better. They had a lot of players on defense that are out right now. Seahawks are favored by 14.5. The Rams, in their 8 losses, they gave up 156 points on defense by scoring 64. In 8 losses, they've scored 64 points. That's 8 points a game average. In their wins, they've given up 71 points by scoring 127. They have given up 25 points or more twice this year. I'm sorry, 3 times. They've scored 25 or more points twice. So yeah, I just don't see them holding Seattle down. Seattle wins. They cover the 14.5 and take it under on the 40.5. I just don't think that defense in St. Louis is strong enough to do anything with Seattle right now. Seattle's on a roll. We have the New York Football Giants at 6-8 without Odell Beckham Jr. versus Minnesota at 9-5. Minnesota's favored by 5.5 at home. I have them winning, covering the 5.5, and taking over on the 45.5. And then on Monday Night Football, game of the week, we have the Cincinnati Bengals at 11-3. Versus Denver Broncos at 10-4, the second and third best records in the AFC. Denver's favored by 3.5 at home. I think they will win the game. Denver will. They'll cover that 3.5. I'm taking over on the 40.5. So that will wrap up week 16 of the NFL football season. One more regular season week and then playoff time. Well, thank you for watching Robert's Sports Show. As always, I'm your host, Robert. You have a fantastic night. Have a spiffy night. Happy holidays to all, and to all a good night.